I'm going to tell you a story. You're on Father Campbell's chapel, a generator pops in the distance. You've been chasing a survivor for 45 seconds and they're not even injured. They run to the shack, vault the window, and make it to the pallet. They drop it, you break it. They run to a nearby jungle gym. You outplay them at the vault, but they have another pallet that stuns you. You break it. They run towards the main building, but on the way, they link to a new filler pallet, one of those freshly added ones. They drop it and just stare at you while you regret not playing Blight. Another generator pops. You decided to not play an S-tier killer this match, so the chase was unwinnable from the start. That feeling, that complete lack of agency as a killer, is the new reality on a large number of maps across the fog. This wasn't supposed to happen. A recent quote-unquote quality of life update, one that was pitched as a good thing to fix map dead zones, has instead played a huge role in destroying the game's core balance. It has turned already strong maps into never-ending time sinks, and it might be one of the most damaging balance changes the game has seen in years. A small note about the background footage: I really wanted to get footage of lower tier killers playing, but honestly, I was just suffering the entire time. I was getting rolled when I tried to play quote-unquote fair by not tunneling and camping, and it was just a miserable experience. So enjoy some Blight gameplay in the background, as it's the only thing I could do to play killer and stay sane. Before we dive deeper, I want to give a huge thank you to my Tier 1 channel members Polo and Jay Reynolds, as well as my Tier 2 channel member Kelnek. Your support means the world to me and my community, as the proceeds from channel memberships go directly to my local animal shelters. Thank you again, and let's dive in.
Because I had kind of an interesting situation today where for the first time in like literal years, I turned off DBD on stream today because I wasn't having a good time. It wasn't even like a specific thing happened that like set me off and I rage quit. I went into crybaby mode and threw a fit and I crashed out. I think I just genuinely, despite I wasn't even losing that much. It's not even like oh well, you were losing and you got something about it. Like I just genuinely found myself in a place where I genuinely was not having fun in a majority of my matches. And I just got to the point where I was like, it has been like this for a bit. I'm good. I am going to go play something else. I was not having a good time, win or lose. And the main reason this was happening is because of the pallet density update. If you didn't know, which you should by this point, in the Crossu update, the Sinister Grace update that came through, 10 realms have been updated with a pallet density quality of life, as we like to call it, quality of life update that has increased the pallet count by an immense amount. Think, I'm not even joking, think every single map in this 10 realm pool is now Gideon's meatpacking plant. I am not kidding. I am not exaggerating. There is that many pallets on these maps now. This being Macmillan Estate, Autohaven Wreckers, Coldwind Farm, Cortis Pren, Hanfield.
Let's be clear about what the developers said they were trying to do. The whole point of the pallet density update was to fix dead zones, those huge empty spaces on some maps where a survivor, once they were caught out, had zero chance. The balancing logic is sound enough. If you add more pallets, you give survivors more resources, and cut down on the areas where a chase is a guaranteed down. For a few maps, like the notoriously empty Coldwind Farm variations or the old Haddonfield, this was a change players had been asking for. Some maps absolutely needed help. But the problem wasn't the idea, it was how they did it. Instead of a careful, surgical approach, we got a sledgehammer. A sledgehammer with behavior's quality of life seal of approval right on the head. The update carpet bombed an insane number of maps with a shocking number of additional pallets, completely ignoring their individual size, layout, or existing balance. This one-size-fits-all solution has had pretty huge consequences. Maps that were already dense became comically oversaturated. This change has made playing Survivor much easier at lower skill levels, as even just pre-dropping pallets can extend chases significantly. At the same time, it has greatly boosted the time-wasting potential of high-skill survivors, who can now expertly chain these new resources together into massive safe zones. Hell, this new change dropped a ton of filler pallets right next to Shack of all things. Instead of just fixing dead zones, the update has linked together previously balanced loops, allowing a survivor to run from one safe spot to the next without a second thought. The result is that on many maps, your skill as a killer feels almost meaningless. You aren't outplaying a survivor anymore, you're just stuck in a war of attrition, breaking pallet after pallet while generators fly in the background. It's absolutely grueling for killers, especially low-tier M1 killers who have to rely on map knowledge and pallet pressure. If you're not running an A+ or S tier killer, this change had a large hand in swinging the scales of balance against you. There's no better example of this mess than Father Campbell's Chapel. Even before this update, this map was already considered survivor-sided. Its main building is infamous, a powerful structure with strong windows and god pallets that can be chained together to stretch a chase out for a ridiculous amount of time. The area around the shack was already a strong combination of tiles that a good survivor could use effectively. This map didn't need more pallets, many felt it needed a rework to weaken it. So what did the pallet update do? Well, obviously it gave it more pallets. The new pallets on Father Campbell's Chapel do one thing: they act as bridges. They connect the already powerful main building to the shack loops. They link jungle gyms that used to be separated by a risky open field. That small patch of grass you could use to cut a survivor off, it probably has a pallet on it now. What used to be a calculated risk per survivor, can I make it from this loop to the next, is now a guaranteed safe passage. The map is transformed from a collection of strong loops into what feels like one singular, unbroken god loop that covers half the map. Let's just walk through a chase. A survivor runs you around the main building, using its multiple powerful windows and pallets. You finally push them out. Before, this was your chance. You could catch them out in the open as they tried to reach the next big structure. But now they just run to a new filler pallet and pre-drop it. You have to break it. From there, they run to the jungle gym next to the shack. You try to play it, but they have a huge head start and can loop it safely. They drop that pallet, you break it. Then they run to the shack, you drop that pallet, and now 2, maybe 3 generators have popped. At no point in that whole sequence did your skill matter. You made the right reads, you respected the pallets knowing they were just going to pre-drop you for distance, you zoned them correctly, it made no difference. The sheer number of resources meant the outcome was predetermined. It's not a chase, it's a guided tour of every pallet on the map, and it's just profoundly frustrating. If Father Campbell's Chapel is an example of a strong map becoming oppressive, Coal Tower is the tragic story of a balanced map becoming, well, not. For years, Coal Tower was widely regarded as one of the most, if not the most, balanced maps in the game. In a 2024 poll, 60% of players still felt the map was balanced. It was fair for both sides, with a simple layout, main building that wasn't overly oppressive, and clear, separated loops. The map's fairness came from its defined risk and reward structure. Leaving a loop to get to the next one often involved crossing a dangerous open space, giving the killer a chance to land a hit. Then the pallet update happened, our beloved quality of life fix. This update took this great balanced map and drowned it in wood. I would make a joke here, but family friendly, yada yada. New filler pallets were added that completely destroy the map's flow, creating connections where none existed before. That once risky dash from a jungle gym to the main building is now bridged by a safe pallet. The area around the shack, already a strong point, now has multiple extra pallets nearby that can be chained together, extending the chase significantly if run by a competent survivor. The map is so small that cramming this many new pallets in it has made certain areas a maze of rock loops and resources just feet away from each other. What was once a tactical map rewarding smart pathing has become another mindless hold W simulator for survivors, running from one guaranteed safe spot to the next. The core design that made Coal Tower a fan favorite and a benchmark for balance has been completely undermined. You're no longer playing Dead by Daylight, you're playing a pallet breaking minigame. In fact, this isn't the subject of this video, I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but Dead by Daylight in general has been feeling like it's a game that's on tracks recently. It's kind of like do what the devs intend or don't play kind of thing. I don't know, I'm going off script, but yeah, I just had to say that. The destruction of maps like Father Campbell's Chapel and Coal Tower is just the most obvious symptom of a much deeper problem. This blanket palette update has had a corrosive effect on the entire game, pushing the meta in a stale and unhealthy direction. This problem is compounded by the absurdly fast generator speeds that we're seeing lately. These endless chases caused by the pallet surplus go hand in hand with gen times that have hit an all-time peak. As I've talked about in another video, survivors can now fly through generators solo in roughly 40 seconds with the right setup. Hell, if they dedicate all 4 perks to it and a commodious toolbox, you can cut that down even further. So while you're breaking pallet after pallet just to secure your first hit, the game is literally ending behind your back. The killers who suffer the most are the M1 basics, the wraiths, the pigs, the ghost faces, and the poor crippled skull merchants of Dead by Daylight. These are killers whose powers don't let them ignore pallets or cross the map at blazing speed with almost no downsides. Their entire game is about the chase, about mind-gaming loops and forcing survivors to waste resources. When every loop is safe and resources feel infinite, their power becomes irrelevant. This backs players into a corner. If you want a real chance at winning on these new pallet-heavy maps, you're almost forced to play a top-tier killer like Blight or Nurse, who can simply ignore the problem. The result is a huge drop in killer variety and a meta that feels more restrictive than ever. If you're a Survivor main right now, the name Ghoul probably triggers Vietnam-esque flashbacks for you, and I totally get it. On top of that, this change perversely encourages the exact playstyles that behavior says it wants to get rid of. When a standard chase can last for minutes because of pallet density, what's a killer supposed to do? They're incentivized to camp and tunnel. Getting that one hook becomes so costly that it feels necessary to guarantee the kill, just to get back some pressure. This happens even as other recent changes, like new survivor spawn rules that group them together at the start, were meant to help killers build early game pressure. The game becomes a frustrating grind for everyone, and I say that as someone who used to love playing both sides. Recently though, I just can't have any fun playing killer, win or lose. The only way I can play the game and not want to quit after the first match is by playing Survivor, and even then, I can't stomach more than a handful of games. Survivors who aren't being tunneled have a boring game of holding M1 on gens, and the one who is has a miserable, non-interactive experience when they finally run low on pallets to burn through. The pallet update, meant to be a quality of life improvement, has actively hurt the quality of life for the entire player base. So where does that leave us? We're left with a game where a survivor can hold W and run a 3-generator chase in 60 seconds. We're left with a meta that heavily punishes a majority of the killer roster. And we're left with a core gameplay loop that, on many maps, has been stripped of its skill and reduced to a monotonous chore of breaking wood. The idea behind the pallet update, to fix dead zones, was a good one. Nobody wants to play on a map where huge sections are totally barren. But the execution was a disaster. A broad, sweeping change was applied to a game that desperately needs nuanced map-by-map balancing. Instead of surgically fixing the few problem maps, the update has broken the balance of many maps that were fine, and made the ones that were already bad into something truly awful. The health of Dead by Daylight depends on a delicate balance between the killer's power and the survivor's resources. With this one update, that balance has been violently shattered, and the developers need to see that this one-size-fits-all approach has failed and start the tough but necessary work of balancing maps individually. But that's my take. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on the game's balance, check out my playlist of Dead by Daylight discussion videos. If you want to dive into these subjects a bit deeper, or find people to play games with, I've just launched a new Discord server that's open to everyone. I'd love to hear what your experience has been like on these maps since the update, so let me know which maps you think got hit the hardest in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe for more content. As always, thank you for stopping by, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the fog.